Hello, namaste. Welcome to Tuesday, February 8th. Let's find an easy seat to drop in, and then we will transition fairly quickly into a hero pose. But first, just arriving as we are, allowing yourself a few breaths, trusting that this time is valuable, this time of arriving, allowing a little space for transition. And perhaps here you notice how the breath is coming and going in the body. Maybe you can notice the parts of your body on the ground and imagine rooting down. As you press down into those parts, you might feel a sense of buoyancy lift up through the spine as the crown of your head reaches away from your hips. If you'd like to create some vibration today, you can draw your hands together in front of your heart, imagining the sound of Om rising from the very base of your spine all the way up and out the crown. Inhale deeply. And release your hands. Drop your chin towards your chest any amount and stay for a breath or two. And when it feels right, you might start to roll your head from side to side, keeping the jaw and shoulders as soft as you can here. Sometimes this can give us information, noticing if the body seems to be tugging on itself, if there's tension here in the upper body. And after rolling your head side to side a few times, return to sit tall. It's Tuesday and we twist, so let's start by just twisting the head, looking over one shoulder. Stay for a breath or two, seeing if you can soften around the opposite shoulder. So if you're looking over your left, notice what's happening with the right, and maybe you can soften a little. Check in with the jaw. And as you breathe, return your head through neutral and twist over to the other side. Pausing here and noticing. Ideally, our connective tissue, everything is hydrated and supple and things slide nicely. But reality is sometimes things feel a little stiff or crunchy. Awareness is the first step to creating change. So notice what's here. And return your head to neutral. Now you can stay seated just as you are if that works well for you. Otherwise, I can encourage us to sit on a block if you have it, putting the block between the ankles and calves. And then, I like to also put a folded blanket over the block under my seat. So arrange yourself in a way that you can sit tall. If you have a strap available, you can bring that into the picture. And as you arrive, pause again to notice your foundation. It's changed if you rearranged yourself. So perhaps you can feel the tops of your toes, the tops of your feet, ankles, shins, knees, anything that is your foundation now. Notice, and then imagine pressing down. And as you root down, you might feel that sense of lift. You might even be able to see it. Our core is gently engaged. We might lean back in space just a bit so that shoulders are over hips. Anchor the base of your spine down. Ears are over shoulders, so maybe we draw our chin back in space just slightly, imagining we're lifting up through the crown of the head. If you're using a strap, then inhale and reach it up overhead. If you're not using a strap, you can also just lift your arms. Maybe you interlace your hands and flip the palms to the sky, but go easy on your shoulders. We don't have to force. Staying for a breath or two. As you breathe, maybe the shoulders keep sliding up. Maybe we can get a little longer in the side bodies. Another inhale, creating length, pulling the strap apart. Exhale, twist to your left slowly. Maybe the head also twists, looking towards your left arm. And with your breath, inhale, return to neutral. Soften a little bit as you exhale. Inhale, lift up again. Exhale, take a twist to your right. After the torso is twisted as much as it can, maybe the neck and head also twist and you look towards the right arm. Notice any shifting happening in your foundation. Try to stay firm and steady. One more breath. Exhale back through center. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lateral fold, dropping the left arm over to the left. Keep your right hip grounded. So we're hinging and folding to the side. Inhale, back through center. Reach up. Exhale, hinge to the other side. Really pressing your left hip down now. Breathe in, back to center. Lower your arms. Hands to shoulders, draw circles with the elbows, starting small. And let them get big. And switch directions when it feels right. You can really claw your fingertips into your shoulders and pectoral muscles if you like. Let these circles get smaller and smaller. Keep your core engaged, foundation rooting down. And then come to stillness. Interlace the hands behind your head, making a little basket for your head. Keep your elbows open out wide. Inhale, twist to your left, and exhale, twist to your right. This doesn't have to be a huge motion. Inhaling left, exhaling right, going at any pace that feels right to you today. If we normally move rapidly through this, then perhaps we slow down, and vice versa. And as you're ready, return to neutral. Head leaning back in your hands. Imagine lifting your head so we're really long through our spine. Perhaps you start to back bend, lifting your heart towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, round your spine, chin towards chest, elbows coming towards each other, spine or navel towards spine. On an inhale, open back up to neutral, arms out or elbows out wide. On an exhale, hinge over to your left. Notice how your foundation shifts, really root into your right hip, right lower leg. Inhale back through center and exhale, lateral fold to the other side. Right elbow dropping down. Left leg serving as an anchor. Inhale back to center and release your arms. Give them a little shake out. Open your arms out wide. Spread your fingers. Inhale. Exhale, bring the right arm across the front of the body, giving yourself a shoulder stretch. You might look over the right shoulder. Another breath here. And on your inhale, open out wide. Exhale, bring the left arm across the body. You might look over the left shoulder. A few breaths here. On your inhale, open your arms out wide. And exhale, release. We can release any props that we're seated on. I always like to keep the blocks towards the top of the mat, really keeping everything within arm's length, because you might find throughout practice that there are little ways these props can serve you. As you're ready, sink your hips back, find your way into child's pose. This can be passive with your arms down by your sides, or active with your arms up overhead, or maybe somewhere in between. Sometimes I like to make a pillow for my head with my hands and rest my forehead on the hands. A few breaths wherever you go with Balasana. And our quote today is from Eckhart Tolle. Be at least as interested in what goes on inside you as what happens outside. If you get the inside right, the outside will fall into place. Be at least as interested in what goes on inside you as what happens outside. If you get the inside right, the outside will fall into place. From child's pose, we will walk our fingertips forwards towards the top of the mat, transitioning into Anahatasana, extended puppy pose or heart melting pose. So the hips are directly over the knees. The heart is melting down towards the mat, back towards our thighs. The forehead might be on the ground. If this feels really available to you, you might bring your hands to blocks and melt your heart down into this extra space that we've created. That's a lot for the shoulders, so just explore. And you can stay exactly as you are if this is feeling like just what you need, or we can thread the needle, taking this into a twist. So before we do, press the tops of your feet into the ground. Feel that firmness of your foundation, and then weave your right arm under the left, bringing your right shoulder towards the center of the earth. Your head might rest on the earth. And you can stay just like this, or bring the hands together in prayer, pressing the palms together, probably then lifting the torso a bit. Maybe it settles back down, maybe not. And please keep in mind that the props are available to make shapes more available. So you might rest your head on a block. Maybe you rest the block under your right shoulder, creating more space in that way. Freedom to play and explore. About 3 more breaths. Noticing what's happening in your mind. And then checking back in with your foundation. Have you lost awareness of the feet, the tops of the feet connected to the earth? And if so, perhaps you can return. Can you keep the connection to your next cycle of breath? And if you revolved this Anahatasana, we'll unwind, returning to neutral for just a breath, and then switch sides. So now the left shoulder comes towards the center of the mat. Maybe you bring block or blanket under your shoulder or head. Maybe you stay just like this, or perhaps you bring your hands together, pressing the palms into prayer towards the center of the chest. That'll probably lift the torso. Maybe after we've created space, we settle it back down. Right shoulder stacked over left. You can be looking up over the right shoulder, or perhaps off to the side, or your eyes might be closed. About 3 more breaths wherever you're going. Notice where your mind is, if it's right here, or if it's in the future, or with a memory. One more breath. And then we'll unwind, pressing the right hand into the earth, extending both arms overhead for just a breath. Rise up through tabletop. Tuck your toes, big inhale. Exhale, send your hips high, finding the triangle shape of Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Remembering anytime we hear Sanskrit that we can be reminded we're not alone in this practice. Millions of people have practiced yoga since ancient times. And you might come to your tippy toes here, stretching your plantar fascia out, soles of your feet. Maybe you sway your hips, bending and straightening one leg and then the other. If it's available to you, perhaps today you explore downward facing dog with your hands on blocks. Now I understand some of us slide a lot on our mats with the blocks, but maybe, just maybe, you give it a try today. And then we're going to really shorten our dog so we can take it into a twist. So you might walk your feet forward, maybe you walk your block hands back. So now we're kind of in like a large forward fold, bit of a triangle. Bend your knees really generously. If you're on your blocks, you might notice your heels are a little closer to the earth perhaps. Anchor your left hand down, lift your right hand, and reach it for the outside of your left leg. Anywhere you can get the left leg is fine. Maybe you can reach the left heel, that's fine too. And then rotating your torso, looking under your left armpit, push the ground away. You might even be able to see your latissimus dorsi and the armpit area get longer as you push the ground away actively. Breathe. And when it feels right, release and switch sides. Anchoring into your right hand, bringing the left hand to the outside edge of the right leg, revolving your torso, core engaged. Push the ground away. Long armpits is going to be a new thing that I strive for. So pushing the ground away, get really long through your side body, pull that right hip up to the sky. One more breath. And exhale, release. Walk your feet to meet the hands. We'll walk everything to the top of the mat. When you get there, bend your knees really generously, clasp opposite elbows, let the head hang heavy. A few breaths. Maybe here you can feel the belly on the thighs. You might feel the pressure increase as you inhale, your belly and torso expands, pressing into the legs. Maybe you can notice a sense of expansion through the low back and hips. Release your arms, engage your gluteal muscles, press into your feet. Inhale, lift up halfway, long spine. Exhale, fold forward, softening the legs. Inhale, root down to rise all the way up. Long spine is the safest for our vertebrae, reaching all the way to the sky. Exhale your hands to your heart and down by your sides. You might take a wider stance, and then we'll gently twist side to side. As you twist to the left, your right heel can lift off of the ground. Allow your right hip to pivot forward, and vice versa. Breathing deeply. You might move in a way that your arms really pick up some gravitational force, is that centrifugal force, and slap around your body. Maybe you throw your front arm up overhead. Little free movement, noticing how it feels, noticing if your mind or body prefer strict rules, or if you like to just play a little. It's okay either way. Another breath or two. And then returning to stillness. At the top of your mat, feet hips distance. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold forward, hands touch down, step your right foot way back in space. For this first round, let's all lower our right knee, untuck the toes for a little more stability. Imagine squeezing the legs together, draw your heart forward, long spine. You can stay just like this, or plant your right hand, left hand comes to the left thigh, look over your left shoulder. If your right hand is on a block and you feel like you could use a little bit more space, then you can move the block out of the way. Bring your right fingertips or palm to the earth. Maybe you reach your left hand up to the sky. Maybe you tuck your right toes and play with lifting your right knee off of the ground. You can always bring the block back in if you need it. Another couple of breaths, maybe you draw big circles with the left arm, like a windmill. Staying in the twist, left hand comes to left thigh, lower your right knee if you lifted it, and bend the right knee. Only if this is available to you. You can also scoot the blanket under your right knee if needed. Perhaps here you reach your left hand back in space. Maybe it finds the inside of your right ankle. You can also loop the strap. You can also just reach back in space. If you've made contact, you can kick the foot back into the left hand, and maybe you lift your right hand off of the ground. Right hand can come to left thigh. Perhaps you're just lifting the block and keeping your right hand on some kind of foundation. Maybe you can reach your right hand up overhead. Remember, this is all choose your own adventure. I encourage a playful, adventurous exploration of our body. Nothing has to be perfect. Everything already is. One more big breath wherever you've gone with it. And unwind, gently touching your right toes back down. Step yourself into plank. Maybe right now you're ready for child's pose. You can do that too. Inhale and exhale. One more breath. Exhale, find downward facing dog. Or if you prefer chaturanga dandasana flow, then from plank, we'll inhale forward onto our tippy toes. Exhale, lower halfway, untuck the toes. Inhale, draw the heart forwards and up, pushing the ground away. And exhale, meeting back in downward facing dog. About 3 breaths. On an inhale, lift your right heel to the sky, 3-legged dog. Bend the right knee, lift it towards the sky, and then stack your right hip on top of the left. Drop your right shoulder as the right toes reach for the left shoulder. No expectation of getting there, but reach in that direction. You can look forward between your hands to help keep your shoulders more neutral. One more big breath. Bring your hips back to neutral. Straighten the right leg. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or swing the right foot to the top of the mat. Hi, kitty. Lower your left knee, untucking the toes. Imagine squeezing the legs together for some stability. Big breath in, lengthening the spine. Plant your left hand, right hand comes to the right thigh. Look over the right shoulder, taking this into a twist. Maybe you reach the right fingertips to the sky. Maybe you tuck the left toes and lift the left knee. Keep the right knee over the right ankle, so it might feel like you're squeezing the legs together again, or bringing the right leg in towards the midline. Maybe you draw big circles with the right arm. One more breath wherever you're going. And then lower the right hand to the right thigh, lower the left knee. Option here to bend the left knee. Maybe you reach your right hand back. Maybe it makes contact with the left ankle. If it does, kick the leg back. Notice that might give you the option of lifting the left hand off of the ground. It can rest on the right thigh or come up overhead. You can have your shoulders squared towards the front, really isolating the quad, or keep this in a nice twist, looking over your right shoulder perhaps. Another breath or two, seeing what's here for you today. No matter where you've gone with this, you're stretching your body, you're breathing into your body, you're here right now. As you're ready, slowly release, touching toes and hands down. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, giant step to the top of your mat, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up. Exhale, fold right back down. Left foot steps back and pivots the heel down. Inhale, cartwheel your arms up. Virabhadrasana 2. On an inhale, reach your right palm to the sky. Exalted warrior. Exhale, cartwheel your arms down, extended side angle. Reach your left fingertips way overhead. Keep your left pinky side edge connected to the earth. One more breath. Exhale, pivot onto your left toes, hands touch down. Left hand stays grounded, stay high on your left toes. Reach your right hand to the sky. Option here to straighten your right leg, staying high on the left toes, so we're in a really wide variation of our pyramid pose. One more big breath. Exhale, right hand down, step yourself back into plank pose. Take all the Toby love I can get. Inhale. Exhale, lower your knees, sink your hips, find a hanging cobra, drawing your heart forwards and up. One more big breath here. Exhale, toes touch down, send your hips high, downward facing dog. A few breaths like this. On your inhale, lift your left heel to the sky, three-legged dog. Transforming this into a twist, we bend the left knee, lift that towards the sky, and then reach the left toes towards the right shoulder. Drop your left shoulder, so looking forward between your hands can help us find a little more stability. Another big breath, push the ground away, reach the left toes towards the outside of the right arm. And on your inhale, re-extend the left leg long, neutralize the hips, look forward. Exhale, step or swing the left foot to the top of the mat. Pivot the right heel down. Inhale, cartwheel your arms up. Virabhadrasana 2. Stay for a breath. When you're ready, flip your left palm to the sky, reverse warrior. Exhale, slowly cartwheel your arms down, long side body through this extended side angle. On each inhale, reach the right fingertips a little farther overhead. And on your exhale, pivot back to high runner's lunge. On the right toes, plant the right hand, reach your left hand to the sky. And as you're ready, straighten your left leg, staying high on the right toes. Imagine dragging the left hip back in space. Breathe deeply. 3, 2, And one, soften the left knee, plant the left hand, step your right foot forward and drop your hips. Come all the way down onto your back. If your blocks are still there, you might take Shavasana in Supta Baddha Konasana, opening the legs out wide, soles of the feet together, blocks under your thighs perhaps. Resting here for just a moment as our twisty Tuesdays fly by. Settling yourself onto the ground with your breath. Be at least as interested in what goes on inside you as what happens outside. If you get the inside right, the outside will fall into place. As you're ready, deepen your breath. And slowly make your way back to an easy seat. Closing this time together by arriving as we began, sitting tall with our breath. Any sense of peace that you've cultivated, please remember that that is always within you. The more we practice, the more easily we can tap into it. If you'd like to close with an Om, you can draw your hands together in front of your heart. Inhale deeply. Thank you for sharing your practice.